So I'd like to call this meeting to order. Morton Grove Library Board of Trustees, November 21, 2013. If we could rise and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Paul, if you could call the roll.
Michelle. Trustee Peters.
Here.
Trustee Novick. Trustee Gonzalez.
Here.
Trustee Goldstein.
Here.
Trustee Kellerman. Absent. Trustee Byrd. Here. Trustee Elders.
Here. Just as a point of order, we're going to jump around a little bit on the agenda tonight because I scheduled in two people to talk to. So they'll be here at 7:15 and then again at 7:45. So when they show up, we're going to go into executive session for about an hour. And then we'll pick up on the agenda where we had left off, so hopefully everybody's okay with that. The approval of the minutes of the October 17 board meeting. Can I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes of the October 17th board meeting.
And a second?
I'll second that.
Questions, concerns, or comments? If none, Paul, if you call the vote to approve.
Okay. Trustee Byrd, yes. Trustee Kellerman is absent. Trustee Goldstein.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Novick.
Yes.
Trustee Peters.
Yes.
And Trustee Elders.
Yes. Any public comments on agenda items this evening? None. No president's report, treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report, the cash statements are in the packet for this month. We have $1.2 million in those funds at the moment. TMA, nothing rolled over during the month of October. One has rolled over in the month of November. It was just reinvested. Other than that, no TMA report. Does anybody have any questions on the income statement at all?
I do have the revised.
You have a revised one? Okay, yeah, I was gonna look and see. Okay, the line number,
I got it.
did you wanna explain again?
On the original income statement that you have, that you got in your packet, line 4050, retirement, was not properly credited with our big payment to CNA that had been.
You caught that during the committee
That we
meeting.
caught that during the committee meeting, that has since been adjusted, so you will see that if you look at your two different reports, you see that 4050 now reflects the CNA payment. That has actually went over the budgeted amount because of the larger amount that was due CNA because of the retirement of a long-term employee. There's a provision in the current contract that we actually have through the village and that they've got with CNA, that there's a higher percentage payout for employees who have worked here 30 years or longer upon their retirement. So we did have a long-term employee retire, so that's why that was higher than anticipated. That amount is budgeted for in subsequent years, or for next year. So we should pay for next year.
Other than that, there were no revisions. If anybody has any questions, they can ask. There has been nothing put in or taken out of the special reserve fund. And the check register, does anyone have any questions about any of the checks? Yes, Paul?
I have one small question, which is probably insignificant and probably my own stupidity. Here, on the PMA activity statement, when we look at the cost is what we paid for all these, and the face amount is what they are with interest. Why is it that the GE Capital Bank certificate deposit, the cost is 102, and the face amount is 200,000? Should not that be reversed, or am I, you see what I'm getting at? The face amounts are all higher, except this guy.
Well, these are the
Yeah.
This one's a little higher. have lost.
It probably
They've
lost.
lost value. It was a loser and everything else was a
A
winner.
certificate of deposit
I can call,
is a loser?
it could be, I suppose, I can
Some
call
of them, if
Tim
they're tied
Matthews.
to, if they're tied to an index, they will go up or down.
No, it could be, I just,
What does BTC
Which one do you
mean here?
think is,
see, that might be the key.
which one are you concerned about?
Let's consider the GE Capital Bank certificate of deposit.
That's the fifth one down.
I mean, it's minuscule, but I just, it piqued my attention when I was looking at it.
Well, the instrument that it's invested, the instrument that it's invested in could have lost value
Yeah,
since you bought it.
yeah, I didn't take that as a minus, I took that as a hyphen. So much for Jeffrey Emalt and GE. I didn't like, never liked them either.
Any questions on any of the checks? If not, I'd like to submit this as our financial report for the month.
All right, can I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I move to accept it.
All right, and a second.
I second.
You're gonna second, all right. Paul, if you could call
Reading
the vote.
Trustee Elbers.
Yes.
Trustee Berg, yes. Trustee Goldstein.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Novich.
Yes.
And Trustee Peters.
Yes.
I'll just present yours.
We gotta,
She's here.
we just roll with it before we do the
Well, I think we could probably get through committee reports and staff reports.
committee reports. There were none to report on.
Well, actually,
Finance, building, and ground policy, no.
oh,
By
our
law
special
is
committee. Oh, you're down there, okay.
Or unfinished. You wanna squeeze in a staff report or?
I don't really have anything to add to my written report besides my obvious resignation, which is probably the biggest news since I wrote it. Other than that, I think everything that happened last month is covered.
And when is your last actual day of working in the office?
It's December 16th.
What day of the week is it?
That's a Monday, so. So I will have all of the board packet prepared and everything for that meeting, and then
So this is your last
this is the last board meeting that I'll be at as director.
Should have had a cake.
It's okay. So that was all I have.
Okay, anything from
Well,
corporate?
the one thing that I would want to point out for this evening is just for preparation for the next month, so that we can, with the changeover, and be ready for that, is that December would be our semi-annual review of the closed minutes.
Yes,
So
yeah.
that we can, and we'll make sure that we get it on the agenda, but the big thing would be getting those minutes together
Yep.
so that they can be reviewed next month.
We also need the dates of all the meetings for next year and closing
Yep.
dates of the library.
Yep, that was on my list for next time.
And that's all I have.
Okay. I guess, since we have our first person here, let's move into executive session. If you would read the thing,
I will read the thing.
they have a motion to go into executive session?
Would it be personnel, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I make a motion that the board go into executive session to consider information regarding appointment, employment, or dismissal of an employee or officer pursuant to section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act.
And a second?
We'll
I'll
move that
second
again
that.
for the next person.
No, we're just gonna stay in, because we got one right after the other. No discussions, can you call the roll, please, Paul?
Trustee Goldstein.
Here.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Here.
Trustee Novich.
Here.
Trustee Peters. Trustee Berg. Here,
Yes, actually.
Trustee Elbers, yes.
Yes.
6-0, we go to executive session.
All right, it is 7:10. Okay, we're good. Take So we're gonna pick up at line 9, the unfinished business, a review or revision of bylaws.
Okay. I'm at the point where I would like to give Frank a copy to look over the bylaws. And I am prepared to distribute them to the board for their review. I think they would want to have some time to look at them. I did not make enough I may have enough copies here. That
So what you could do is perhaps get a copy to Frank, a copy to Pam.
I
Let
can-
them,
Pam already has one. There's a copy for Frank.
Okay.
I've already
The
got.
part
Can I
in
make a-
green is the one we really need your opinion on.
Okay.
It's pretty
That's
simple.
really all.
I have
One of
put,
the things I was gonna suggest is maybe the whole board could look at it first and
Oh,
get
before it
comments,
goes to-
get comments in, just because if there's something else, before I review, that way I'm
Yeah.
reviewing everything all at once. But I'm happy to answer your questions on the
these could
green.
be sent.
Yeah, our only question was, since now we have PMA, near the end, you'll see the green section.
There's a whole page of. green
And
where we're
does
not
it have to
changing.
stay in or can it come out? And that was really the only, we had resolved the rest of it, we thought. That, but since we have TMA, we
I
need
can-
that in there.
Is it green enough?
It's good.
I'd say so, yeah.
What I could do is send Blanche a copy by email and she could distribute it.
she can shoot it out, sure.
And everybody can make their own
Why don't you
copies.
send it to me?
I'll
Yeah, it'll be
send it
hard
to
to get the color to come through for it. It'll
Well,
be hard for
how
them
How
to
many copies
follow.
do you have?
I have I have two copies, I have three copies.
We'll copy it.
Oh, that's okay,
You have a
because you and I
color
have, the
scanner,
three of us have one.
I mean, I
So
have
just give it
three.
to Art and Paul, and we'll go, and Mark.
Oh,
Is that, do you,
is
I
that
would
do
say
it?
if you want to email me a
I
copy,
can email you a copy if necessary.
do you need to take this?
No, I
Okay.
don't need it.
So then everyone has one except
Yeah.
for Dr. Callahan?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not only on the computer, it's on these.
Well, you've got a color scanner, you can scan it.
Yeah, I'm colors at least in that.
Yeah, so, all right.
It's.
So we'll review and report
it's
back
on this
within,
one.
Yeah, and anything that's a change has a color code on it and then a reason
If you've
why.
got 5 minutes.
for us to take any action on this, we have to have it in the possession of the board 10 days before the next meeting.
Right.
So you have to
The
read
next
it
meeting.
and be ready for it.
But can it be on the agenda then for the next meeting?
I'm putting it on there.
Part,
Yes.
part of the bylaws, in addition to bylaws, they were also extended our responsibilities to developing an assessment form, which is in the bylaws that there be an assessment of the director. So I don't know if this is part of bylaws or an item that has to go onto the agenda in the future, but we do have an assessment draft ready for people to review also.
That'll be separate from the bylaw.
You want
but,
it separate,
yeah.
then you want it on next month's agenda?
It doesn't have to be because we have nobody to assess right away.
Right.
So let's actually, maybe Mr. Keister will help us with that assessment form.
It's fine, it's ready, whatever the case may be.
All right, good.
So our committee, as far as we're concerned, is
We're
complete.
done.
The one thing we
Good
did,
news.
one thing we did not
Looks like a
do,
job well done.
but
Yeah.
suggest that the board consider is developing a procedure around of completing the assessment and how it would be given to the director.
That we
In
can
other
put in
words-
the bylaw.
Would it be a small committee, would it be everybody, would, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
We had some questions about that. There was also a question that we might consider. And there's a difference of opinion here also of having the staff involved with
Staff involved with.
input on the director's
It's an
assessment.
evaluation for the director, so
And
like
they're-
a 360 evaluation they call it.
Wait a second, say it again.
We didn't work on the procedures to prepare the assessment before giving it to the director. But we had a couple suggestions, and one of them was one of the questions is should or should not the staff be involved in giving input to the assessment that would be ultimately given to the director.
So like the staff would, so for example, if you guys were gonna evaluate me, there would be like a sheet or something that the staff, say the department heads would fill out and then turn into the board so that you've got staff input. Because as mentioned before, you know, you see the director once or twice a month, staff might have a completely,
We have no authority at all.
No.
over
No.
We would ask-
Use that as an assessment tool for the
I
directors.
understand that, but how do you know it's equitable?
You don't know yet, that's
no,
why,
I mean,
There are differences of opinion about it, and there are.
Good reasons, pros,
there's good
cons to
reasons
it.
on both sides. So we wanted it something to be considered by this
What
board
the board wants to do, does the
when
board
they're
want to increase
working
the
out
assessment or not?
procedures of how it would be prepared.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Pardon?
from our guy, he might actually put that in the package. We will ask. No, those are good questions, we'll consider those at another board meeting.
It's basically all,
But you're good with the bylaws? Fantastic. Nice work.
thank you.
2014 budget, official levy request to the village.
as in your packets, I did include copies of the official levy request to the village, as well as a summary page that I sent them for preliminary numbers. And I also put in your packets the last page of the draft budget that we worked on before. As I was preparing documents for the village, I did notice a typographical error that was resulted in a $300 discrepancy, which was why I wanted to bring it to the attention of the board, so there was no perception of impropriety or anything like that. So basically, I'm just asking the board to approve the levy request.
Extra gift.
Pardon?
It's an extra gift.
So I'm just asking the board to approve the official levy request as presented in your packets.
So the number, the bottom line number has not changed.
Bottom line numbers
Just-
have not, we're
yeah.
still asking for the same amount. The only thing that changed was a $300 difference in the estimated expenditures for 2014.
So I move to accept the 2014 budget request as amended.
Well, actually, you're not amending.
We're not amending the
We're
budget.
not
As
amending.
corrected.
As corrected.
Is correct.
What's the difference between a correction and an amendment?
Well, I thought you said it didn't change the.
It didn't change.
It
the
didn't
levy
change the
amount.
levy
It
request.
changed the numbers within the.
A number within the budget.
Yeah, the number within the report.
But the ultimate number was the same.
The levy
Right.
request remained the same for the village.
So you're just accepting the correction presented by Director Love.
Right.
Well, are you asking for approval to send this letter?
That's-
Within the letter does contain the corrected number.
Okay.
So if that's how if that's how they want to, that's how you want to.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Is it?
So the levy, the 2967,300 didn't change?
That did not change at all.
But the anticipated expenditures changed?
Correct.
Right.
By $300.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. So basically, just to reflect that I have let the board know of that error,
Caught the
asking them to
typo.
approve the levy request as presented, which
Okay.
does contain the corrected expenditure, estimated expenditure.
So the motion would read to approve the 2014 budget as corrected?
I would say, is it okay for me to make a suggestion?
Well, if you're approving the budget as corrected, see that, you had said the levy amount.
As amended. Oh, I meant the budget.
Yeah. so
Yeah, the
why don't we
levy
say-
amount is.
So why don't we say the budget as corrected?
Yeah.
So the motion is
So
to approve
somebody,
the budget as corrected. All right, so you need a second. Oh, Barbara.
Barbara
seconded.
seconded.
I'd like to argue over seconds.
no further discussion. Paul, can you call the roll,
It's just-
please?
I'm a little
Trustee
younger,
Peters?
so yes.
Trustee Novick?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Goldstein?
Yes.
Trustee Burt, yes. Trustee Elton?
Yes.
6-0.
Fantastic. The approval of the Cersei Dynex contract.
As I explained in the board prep, our Cersei Dynex contract does expire this year. That was a 3-year contract. Cersei does now no longer offer 3-year contracts. They have annual contracts, 5-year contracts, 7-year contracts, and 12-year contracts. I just am amazed that anyone would sign a contract for 12 years with an integrated library system vendor, but because they no longer offer the 3-year contract, I am asking the board's approval to sign the 5-year contract. I did include the estimated savings that we will achieve by signing that 5-year contract as opposed to just signing annual contracts.
And the money we save is?
Cumulative,
20?
I think, over that 5-year period, cumulative would be $20,000.
Over 20,
approximately.
yeah.
Exactly what to do.
That's our online catalog system, all of the online cataloging and our database, all of that.
Do they have any competitors, or are we over barrel with these guys?
We are not, there's not very many, there's a couple who are actually more expensive.
And we've looked at that?
They're the same 2 or 3 that have been floating around for a long time. To change catalog vendors would cost upwards of a couple $100,000.
We are over barrel.
So, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of them out there, there are some different options. They are all equally as expensive in their own way. Even like open source vendors, then you have to have staff do the coding and all that sort of thing. So there's.
This company works very well.
This company works very well, we've been using them for a long time. They're the company that CCS uses, the vendor that CCS is currently using if we ever wanted to do, join the consortium or join their computer consortium. So, yeah.
Back in 1900, we'd call them a monopoly.
I don't know that they're quite there yet, but maybe. So I am asking the board's approval to sign the long-term contract.
5-year?
This is a 5-year contract. Yeah, so
I make a motion that we do so.
Motion to, all right, and a second?
Good for you.
And a vote there.
All right, let me see Gonzalez. Trustee Albers,
Yes.
trustee Berg, yes. Trustee Goldstein,
Yes.
trustee Gonzalez, trustee Noel, yes. Trustee Peters, yes. We'd like to buy Park Place.
thank you.
All right, 10B, the appointment of Kevin Justy as our acting director. If there's no objections to that, can we have a,
I'll make
Motion
a
to
motion
approve.
that we approve.
all right, and a second?
Oh, I'll second it.
Fantastic. And for the record, let's vote them in there.
Okey-dokey. Trustee Peters,
Yes.
trustee Novick, yes. Trustee Gonzalez,
Yes.
trustee Goldstein,
Yes.
trustee Berg, yes. Trustee Albers.
Yes. Welcome back, Kevin.
Thanks.
He's been sticking pins in my blue dollar.
And 10C, the director's search, to seek or approve the hiring of a consultant. So we met, we talked, and we have a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to make the firm of John Easter and Associates name them for our director search process for a contract price of $12,500.
And a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Oh, I'm so hard.
No, I said I.
He does the
Shit.
adjournment.
Yeah.
Jumped the
He
gun.
said, yeah. Yeah.
Berg,
All right, let's call that one out. No further discussion? Vote on
Okay.
that.
Trustee Berg, yes. Trustee Goldstein.
Yes.
Trustee Novick. Yes. Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Peters.
Yes.
And trustee Albers.
Yes. Fantastic.
And you will be contacting him, Mark?
Yeah, I'll send him a note. We'll get that on board. And I'll also let the other one
And then if you get an idea from him as to the timing, you
Yeah,
could,
let us
you could
let it
call, you could coordinate the scheduling of what day works best for
know.
him.
And then we can pick the dates to,
And then you could
We
just
need an
call,
initial meeting, we need an initial meeting.
yeah, as soon as we can.
and then you could just set up a schedule of meetings then. The
Perfect.
president can call those meetings, and then we can just have all those posted. It'll be done.
Terrific. Great. All right. Communications, we actually had a couple of very positive ones.
Yes,
Was it
they were in there.
like,
In your packet, one complimenting Marlene Mark, one of our reference librarians, for help that she gave a patron, and then a very long letter for a number of people in the youth services department and the circulation department commenting on the service that they received. So I thought the board would want to see those. It's always nice to hear good things.
It's great, positive stuff.
And as long as we're doing communications, I'd like to give a personal shout out to Karina, Megan, and Elizabeth for the new layout of the book discussion e-books last fall. I think it was done really, really well, and the books that are featured on there, I think, are really good suggestions.
Yeah, it looks really nice, they've done a great job.
Terrific. Public comments on non-agenda items. There's no public here, so no other executive sessions. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Thank you. And a second.
You need a second.
I second.
No objections, we are adjourned.